Hey everyone, it's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you're at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy the show. Please give it a like and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play so you get all the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. Big thanks to the Travel Bugs for the music and our patrons, Doug Jones, Joshua and Caleb Slinkard, Tom Brotherman, Jeff Arbaugh, Deborah Burris, Joshua the geocaching vlogger, Nick Hubbard, Andrew Tiepkin, Cecilia Perez, Sydney Sawyer, Valena Mahar, Jane Jewell, Memphis Mafia, Craig Michelle, interesting, the Geo Gearheads, Zach Fick, the Deadliest Cachers, Tim Terrell, Neil Moore, Molly the Geocaching Dog, Dee and David Vickery, Geocaching Adam, Lori Post, Peter Stepanek, the No Code Geocachers, and our new patron, Paula Hughes, our first Canadian patron. Yeehaw. That's awesome. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/geocachetalk for more details. Patrons get path tags, coins, and other geocaching swag during the year, as well as invites to special events only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as $3 a month. And we promise we're going to get another GC World game up and going pretty soon for people who are patrons. We're going to try this time. We're going to do it on a weekend, somewhere on the weekend. So Craig will try to make sure and do a time, hopefully that maybe you can make it because are we 15 hours different, Craig, between you and?
I think so. It's 11 a.m. here on Monday morning at the moment.
Oh, okay. How's Monday looking, by the way? I always do that.
Oh, it's a fantastic day. The future's looking very bright, actually.
The future is bright. I love it. Well, let me start by welcoming my co-hosts. We're missing Jesse. He'll be on here in a minute. He's having a little bit of issues, but my other co-host is with us here now, Sydney.
Hi, everyone.
So, and Sydney's kind of having slight internet issues, so hopefully we don't lose her.
It's gonna be a good day, Gary. I could tell already.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. But we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it work one way or the other, so it'll be fine. All right, we kind of already started. Let's just jump right into show 55 for Sunday, June 25th, or possibly Monday, June 26th, depending on your part of the world that you are living in. As I welcome back to the show, Craig Michelle, aka seemyshell. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Gary. Good to be back, mate.
Yes. Good day, mate. I get used to that. I love it.
Yeah. And it's just a G. It's not good day. It's good day.
Good
day.
Good day.
That's it. Good day. Exactly.
I'm gonna start saying that. I think it's good.
Throw another shrimp on the Barbie. Okay.
Yeah, we call them prawns, but anyway.
Right.
So that doesn't even make sense. Okay. Good to know. I won't say that if I go to Australia.
There you go. And we need to go because it's awesome. I'm telling you. We're gonna get into. We'll get into that. We're gonna do some news first, but we'll get into all of your latest experiences. And it's like, oh man, you watch those videos and you're like, oh man, I want to see that. I want to go down there and see those things that you're, in geocache and we'll get all that. All right. Let's start with some news. Start with a blog update. Sarah Murphy, our Irish friend. See, we're very international. This is a very international podcast. But Sarah has graciously offered to help get some really cool blog entries put for us. And so she's found some different people to enter blog entries, and they've been great so far. The latest one, the best cache I've never found, number 2, is a story about Glasgow grandeur. And so Sydney says she's going to read it. So go for it, Sydney.
I did. I read it.
You read it?
But yeah, because you asked me earlier if I had read it. So now I have. Right. Yes, I did. You can't rag on me anymore.
I won't.
But okay, so this cache in particular is in Georgia. I won't spoil all of it. You got to go read the blog if you want to, hear the whole story. But in essence, maybe a car kind of got stuck in a road on the way to a geocache and he never got to find it. So
Maybe.
you can go check out the story about cars maybe getting stuck on roads on the way to a geocache.
Very tough. You get off the road, and Craig's done this before too, probably. You get off the road and all bets are off. I mean, you might get stuck.
Even on a bike.
Exactly. Oh yeah, which we're going to talk about your riding the bike around, and so we'll get to that in a minute. So a quick update on Cachely, and Craig's a big Cachely fan too. This is wonderful.
Huge.
Cachely 3.0 is coming out in 4 days. That's awesome. And Nick is going to be on the show to tell us about give us all the latest scoop on 3.0. He'll be on July 16th. And so show 58. But that doesn't mean you should wait to install 3.0. Install it on June 29th and enjoy all of the wonderful things that Nick has put into this new version. So, and if you never downloaded Cachely, it's dirt cheap. I mean, it's worth it to have, right, Craig? I mean, you love it.
100%. I've had it since the original. I'm the original Cachely fan, so it's fantastic. The updates are fantastic, and Nick is great when it comes to any questions you have. Even if you're a beginner cacher and you send him a message, he'll get back to you within a couple of hours. It's great.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, obviously international support because we have Craig. He's in Australia and he loves Cachely, so definitely. So geocaching.com came out with a little bit of information about their summer promotion. What do we call this, Sydney? Summer.
I would always say like a summer souvenir promotion, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, and about the Mary Hyde, it's sort of pirate themed. And if you're gonna do an event, and you want to get the souvenir for July 15th, don't forget that you need to get your event in this week, because you need to give them obviously the 2-week leeway for that. Are you, Craig? Are you planning to go to an event, or are you going to host an event for?
Well, I'm looking at, because I'm already hosting an event for the Canada one next weekend. So right. I'm already hosting for that. I didn't want to host another event for the purpose of this, but there's no one else around here that are hosting, so I might have to.
Yeah, we could at least have a meet and greet or.
Yeah, just something for that date.
Yeah,
keep us out on souvenirs. Those digital pixels are the best.
That's right. And as my wife Susan always says, you don't have to dust them. Wonderful.
Exactly.
It's a great souvenir. So, just it looks like it might be a fun thing. We don't know. We talked about before that it's a little vague, which they do that. That's okay. But we're going to host an event. We do an annual event, and so I was trying to find the right time to set up our annual event, and this one kind of came about. It's like, perfect. I'll just put the two together. And so I've actually I host an event every year, and we have a really large sports park in town with softball and soccer fields and all that. But there's enough park around it that so I'm able to work in about a dozen or so geocaches in this little, well, not little, it's pretty big, but every year we do something. And so I've got it scheduled. I've got all of my caches. I send my caches in, and then he looks at them and he locks them, and then he'll publish them all at the same time on that date, at 9 a.m. on July 15th. They all get published. So it's very exciting, because usually I'm telling people about the event, and all of a sudden everybody's phones blow up and all these caches are published and everybody goes crazy. So it's a lot of fun. But hopefully the weather's good, because July 15th for us, well, for us is crazy. That's winter for you, right?
Yeah, it's winter now. That's right. It's chilly.
It's chilly. Are you ready for winter again, Sydney?
No.
because Sydney living in New York, both her and Jesse get snow every year. I don't get much snow in Texas, very little, some.
Yeah.
But we always last winter was pretty rough, I think, for you, wasn't it, Sydney?
I think we had a couple of big storms, but general just standard snow straight through the winter, pretty much. I'm not looking forward to that again.
Yeah, not this soon.
Summer just started, Gary. You're already bringing up winter.
I know. Well, we're going to get started and talk a little bit about, we're going to talk quite a bit about the Red Center experience and the event and the trip and everything. I do want to mention, if you're not in the chat room and you're on live, please enter the chat room. A lot of good conversations going on there. John Neville's a friend of mine who goes by Ruggles, and his path tag has a kangaroo on it because he is married to an Aussie from South Australia, and they go down there periodically and geocache and stuff. It's really kind of neat to I want to make sure he was with us tonight, but he uses CGeo, which I know I don't give enough love to CGeo. That is probably the best Android app, and remind me, something we need to probably do sometimes. We need to talk about CGO because we always talk about Cachely, but I don't want to. I want to give some love to our Android users too. I don't want you guys to think we hate Android. We love Android. We love iPhone or iOS, and we wish that there was something, But Cachely, what's bad about these devices, I guess, is you can't write. If you write one, you have to rewrite the other one completely, which is sad that they do that. But anyway, that's just another thing. All right, let's get talking about the Red Center experience. And when you found out about this event, Craig, what was your initial? Were you planning this whole, or when you started the planning, were you thinking you were going to take your motorcycle, or were you?
Yes.
Okay. So you felt pretty comfortable that this is what you were going to do. You're going to go
definitely
all the way all the way there, which it's quite a ways. You went. Is it 3 days there and 3 days back? Is that right?
Well, I took the shortest route there, which is 2,000 kilometers or 1,300 miles in 3 days to get there, and then I took a longer route back, coming back through Queensland.
Oh, gotcha.
It took me nearly a week, just over a week to get back. So yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome though.
So that was great.
Craig's an adventurer. Such an adventurer, getting out and doing that. So now, had you been to Alice Springs before, like as a kid, or was this your first time out that way?
Yeah, never. I'd been to Victoria a couple of times. I've been to Queensland a couple of times. That's pretty much it. Very rare have I been to any other parts of Australia because it's so big.
Yeah.
So Alice Springs is basically, it's right in the middle of the dead center of Australia. So Australia is very similar size to the US. So it's like going from the east coast for you guys to the middle, which is
right.
What
Kansas.
state? Kansas, I think so. Yeah. So
yeah,
but I have to. I can't ride directly straight across. So because there's a big desert in the middle, so I have to actually ride down and around the desert, and then I rode home by the top. So I did like a big circle, big loop up and around. So it was great. It was great.
And on motorcycle, and I watched. You got some great videos out there, so definitely catch up on, if you haven't, some of Craig's videos that he did. He did each day. We're talking about. I want to kind of start the conversation because we'll talk about the actual event, but I want to talk a little bit about the trip. The trip, yes,
yes.
Because did a great video and pack, because you had to pack with the plan in place that you're going to camp along the way.
Yeah.
You had to bring all your, like, you're going to bring geocaching stuff,
Yep.
You ate along the highway, or
yep.
or wherever you go. So that's some good, and all on the back of a motorcycle. So.
Well, it is a big bike. So I've got the Honda
is.
Goldwing. It's a big bike. I wouldn't probably, it'd be hard to do it on a smaller bike than that, but you still could do it. So yeah, I had to plan. I had to have my camping tent. I had my sleeping equipment. I had my cooking equipment as well, plus food, drink. I had extra fuel tanks as well, because there's some parts there where I can't go for the length on just one tank of fuel. So I had that, plus I had the geocaching stuff as well. So including little the pocket Cetos. Have you seen those that I did on YouTube? Yeah, those little pocket Cetos.
Yeah.
So I dropped those little pocket Cetos off here and there all through.
That's cool.
My trip around as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so you brought extra,
So I had everything basically on the back of that bike. I'd planned my trip. We got this app called WikiCamps here, and it's basically an app where you can plan your trip and plan your stops. So I had my fuel stops, I had my sleeping stops, but most importantly, I had my cache stops as well. So I did cache along the way, probably doing between 10 to 15 a day, every day on my trip. So just enough to make me stop and, stretch the legs, but not too much that I wasn't getting far enough during a day's trip.
Right. So Sydney, is this bringing back flashbacks to last year? Because Sydney went on basically a trip. How far was your trip, Sydney, when you did the?
I don't know the exact mileage off the top of my head, but I'd say, I didn't have to loop around. I pretty much, the roads pretty much go straight through the U.S. here. There's no big desert in the middle. Well, there is, but not where I was. So, the trip for us took 2.5 days, but we weren't driving for an insane amount of time per day, only like 8 hours or so. And we were stopping and getting out every, 100 miles or so. So,
right.
And I didn't take a 7-day trip home either.
And you didn't do it on the back of a motorcycle either.
No, exactly. I can't imagine how you packed everything you needed on a motorcycle.
Yeah. I do show it in my first video. I show it all spread out on the front lawn.
Yeah, you did.
My son helped me pack it. It was like Tetris, this can go there, then that can fit there, and
right. Because I know we had coolers, we had the tent, we had sleepy bags, we had all this stuff, the geocaching bag, all this stuff for the dog who came with us.
Puppy dog, yeah.
Yeah, and I just can't imagine what that was like.
Yeah, I didn't have a dog, so that's all right.
Yeah.
Craig, did you? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to just say, you could save a little space if you don't bring the dog.
That's right. That's
right. The app you said you used was it called again?
WikiCamps.
WikiCamps. Okay,
WikiCamps.
like kind of like WikiLinks.
Like WikiLeaks, but yeah, WikiCamps.
Right. WikiCamp. Okay, WikiCamps. Okay.
And so the idea of that app itself is user friendly. So in terms of if I find a campsite that's not on there, I can actually place it on there. With the GPS mark and say, yep, and this is what is available at this campsite. That sort of thing. So you can look up free campsites, you can look up paid campsites, all that sort of stuff. So I use that to look up all the free campsites all along the trip. So
that's awesome.
Which is really, really cool. There's a couple of times there where, especially in South Australia, going up the new highway itself, is that there's nothing around at all. I try to get off the road as much as I can, but as soon as you get off the road, all there is just red dirt, a couple of small shrub trees, but that's pretty much it. And it's quite eerie when there's no reception, no one around, and nothing, just you of a night, and it's not even crickets sometimes, like there's no sound at all, but the actual views themselves were incredible. So I saw every sunrise as the moon was setting, or vice versa. So,
right.
The moonrise as the sunset, because it was that flattened plain. I saw the tilt, if you like, of the earth. It was fantastic.
And I forgot to mention, I need to also mention in the chat room, he's in our chat room a lot now, which I really love because he's funny and seems like a really good guy I'd love to meet. If I mess this up, please just I apologize now. Psych1 Maggot?
I think it's Sick1.
Sick1. Okay.
Sick1.
He lives. So Sick1, put in the chat room exactly what I know you live north of or do you know, Craig, have you ever met?
No.
Okay, he's a geocacher. Lives. Okay, he's north of you, but I'd be curious to know, just for fun, to find out where he is in relation to. I think he says he lives north of where you're at. But anyway,
Yeah.
Did you use Project GC at all for? Oh, and Sydney, you did get it right. Of course, Sydney got it right. I never get them right. I mess them up all the time. So, did you use Project GC at all for the caching part of it, or what did you?
No, I use Cachely for everything.
Okay,
I only use Cachely. The only thing I had was my phone. That's it.
Oh, cool.
So I use the phone.
I was thinking about the planning part. Did you, as far as finding caches along, did you make a list, or how'd you just put it on, just throw it in Cachely?
Yeah, well, I use obviously just the GC first, and just did a caches along the route, and I did each day where I was traveling each day. I had them as a pocket query, and then using Cachely, just save them to the offline list. And of course, using Cachely as well, all my maps are offline. Like I downloaded the entire Australia offline, which just took up minimal space. Right. And so there was times where I couldn't use any other mapping apart from Cachely map to actually make sure I was going in the right direction. So it was good for so many things.
That's right. So you use the geocaching app sort of as an atlas, to get
an atlas, exactly. And make sure I'm going in the right direction in the morning, that sort of thing. Right. Yeah, this is the way. Because it didn't require any internet, so it was great.
Yeah, no data needed, or no internet connection, which is great. Another beautiful thing about Cachely is that you can because the GPS in your phone will work, you just don't have any signal, which is great because Cachely allow for all that. So exactly. Sick one, by the way, Craig, he lives in Bundaberg in
that's in Queensland. That's North Queensland. Bundaberg. Yep.
So if you're ever up that way, y'all you get together and do a little geocaching. So
absolutely. Cool. Absolutely.
So it's neat. We get good connections here in us to our to all our friends and our Aussie friends. So, what are some geocaches you did along the route, especially since Sydney's here and Jesse's having some internet issues? We're going to talk about Earth caches.
Yes.
Yay!
Because everybody on the show right now loves Earth caches. Well, yeah. I do too. I love them. In fact, just not as many around me. But anyway, talk about some of the caches that you did along the route, because it's kind of neat.
Well, obviously, because there's so many along the route itself, I tried to limit them to just good quality caches rather than quantity. Obviously, I did like a lot of TB hotels, the bigger size caches, letterbox caches, try to mix it up a little bit. But I had to actually do a lot of the Earth caches along the way, because they take you to a place where, and it's normally they take you to a place where you can go and actually touch or feel what you're looking at, rather than just a lookout where everyone else goes, where every other member of the public just goes and, oh yeah, look at that beautiful scenery. And this can take you to a place where you can actually go down closer and whatnot. So things like the Great Salt Lakes in South Australia, which Rugels will know about as well, like that, they were fantastic. They were unbelievable. There's one of a salt lake, but it's got an island in the middle of the salt lake. And where you're looking at it from, it does look like a floating island because it's a mirage effect. Yeah, yes. It was like a floating island.
You got to check out that video, because it does. Yes. It looks like it does.
Unbelievable.
It looks like you're, like up on the side of a mountain, and it's like the clouds are in there and you can see the top of it. It's really cool.
That's right. That's really cool.
And he actually walked out on it, which is kind of neat, because you could kind of, you actually like get down to the ground and like show us how that, it's.
Yeah, that's right. With the salt lakes, they're incredible. Like I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I've lived in Australia all my life. I'm 42 years of age and never been there. It's pretty sad, but you have to go there at some time. And to actually walk on this salt lake and hear the crunching under your feet and realize that they're actually very hollow. So it's about that much hollow, like 1.5 inches hollow, where you can crack through the top of the salt. And it's just nothing underneath. So it's really strange. And there's waves of salt as well. It's like it's been evaporated very, very quickly at times. And the salt's just, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's fantastic. And it tastes like, I did have to have a bite of it, of course.
Of course, you had to.
Well, that was part of the prerequisite for the Earth cache, so.
Right. Oh, yeah, you have to.
You have to do what the Earth cache tells you to do. So, so things like that. Then there was Uluru as well, Ayers Rock. That's just magnificent. That's just that's the largest monolith I think in the Southern Hemisphere, maybe the world. I'm not sure. No, second to Kosciuszko, I think it is. So yeah, so that was just magnificent. And the only issue for me for my trip though was it was a drizzle rain the time I was there, and so I didn't get to experience the whole, because at sunset and sunrise, the actual rock itself will change 5 or 6 different hues of color within the space of half an hour. So you can sit there with a time-lapse camera, for instance, and you can actually see the rock change color automatically, like you're looking at a TV screen, you know.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So I have to go back there to actually see that properly.
You've got another trip. But
exactly.
You ended up doing, gosh, you said before the show started you did maybe about a dozen earth caches.
Yeah, I looked at my my log itself, and I got up to about 20 earth caches in my trip.
Wow.
So between 20 and 25 earth caches in the trip, so that's pretty cool.
Awesome. Sydney?
Yeah.
There you go. Go to Australia.
I know. I've always wanted to go to Australia, especially because my name is Sydney, and so I want to go to Sydney, Australia.
You'd buy up all the little tchotchke type, you know.
Right. All these things say my name. Look, the shirt says my name, and this be great.
Your boyfriend, if he's with you, be like, Sydney, got way too much stuff with your name on it. That's plenty. It's all you need.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, and I'm sure, Craig, you have the same, like you mentioned before, the same experience. It's like there are a lot of good earth caches. Even around Dallas, there's some good earth caches. There are some that, I mean, it's not, for me, it's nice just to have one, because a lot of times when they ask us, geocaching.com asks for us to do an earth cache, we have to drive quite a ways to get to one. So, you know, I appreciate everybody's efforts to do, you know, an earth cache, but I really appreciate the ones that are really of kind of high quality.
Yeah. Well, we've got a new earth cache location down here near where I live, just south of Sydney, and it's up in the sort of mountain areas, and it's along a trail hike. And what the person's done is actually made an earth cache power trail. So I think there's nearly 19 or 20 earth caches along an actual trail hike, and they're all different. Everyone's different, whether it be the waterfall, whether it be different type of rock formations. You know, it's just amazing. So there you go. You've got a power trail of earth caches down here.
Wow.
She's like,
she's salivating.
Well, I can't imagine, because I know what it's like to try and come up with an idea for a topic and have it be anything substantial. That's the biggest struggle for me, because I have a couple and I just have no idea where even to put another. So I can't imagine like what all the effort that this guy put in to come up with different ideas for a whole trail's worth.
That's right. And we have our reviewer down here as well. I think he does Australia and New Zealand earth cache, their reviewer, and he is very geological minded as well. So he knows exactly what he likes and what he needs and what he wants to make an earth cache successful and to make you learn something by doing the earth cache, which is what we're all supposed to be doing.
Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there's probably a challenge. Well, Sydney probably knows this. There's probably a challenge if you do like 20 earth caches in one day. You could probably go sign a log somewhere, I would think.
There probably is somewhere. I assume pretty much anything you can do, I kind of assume that there's a challenge cache out there somewhere for it.
Well, right, long as it's long as it's verifiable, I guess, in Project GC.
Well, now, yeah, but there could have been one out there from before the rule changed.
Right. Well, let's get to. We could talk about your trip, and that could be a whole show. But let's get into the actual event. So, Sydney, I'm going to turn it over to you. And we talk a little bit about the actual event.
Right. So here's my first question. I know it's probably going to be a heartbreaker. Was the Red Center Experience a mega event or no?
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
I know. Even though it was the most funded event we've had in Australia ever in terms of monetary value, we had nearly 30 Garmin giveaways, you know, for the prizes. Wow. We had fireworks at the end. We had live bands playing. We had movie night every night. We had, you know, all these magnificent experiences. it didn't make mega because I think personally of the remoteness. So we had a Facebook page called The Pilgrimage to the Red Centre, where everyone who was going had access to the Facebook page to say this is how their trip's going. Everyone that was there, apart from I think 2 or 3 people, everyone else that was there spent a minimum of 10 hours driving to get there.
Wow.
Everyone stayed on site as well, so which was a magnificent sort of big camping site. So because of the remoteness of it, look at me, I traveled 3 days to get there, and I'm not the only one. So yeah, the remoteness of it, we made, I think it's 460 people signed the log and clicked the attend. So it was close, but no cigar, unfortunately. I mean, we did speak to, or the producers did speak to the to GC, and they just said, look, sorry, 500 is 500, which is fair enough as well. Like, but it'd be like, yeah, it was hard to get that many people to that sort of remote location, especially in Australia. We're not as big here. Obviously, geocaching isn't as big and as what it is in America, like in terms of the amount of people that do it. So pretty much a good 80% of geocachers in Australia went to this event, but it still didn't make mega. So yeah, it's hard like that sometimes. But
you look like you had a great time.
Oh yeah, whether it's a mega or not, and this is what I've been spruiking to people. No matter what's the difference between an event and a mega event is just an icon really on your GC page. That's the only difference. For me, whether it's a mega or an event, I enjoy the social aspect of it. I enjoy getting out there and chatting to people, going a full day's hike and caching with people, that people you've never met before or seen before, but you have something in common with. So for me, that's more important than a little icon at the end of the day.
That's awesome. So I see you wrote something kind of unique about this event. Something about travel bugs and raffle tickets.
So I didn't know that was unique until you guys brought it up. So what happened is that they wanted everyone to bring in travel bugs to obviously into the event. Not a problem. And so what they offered, because they had so many prizes, they offered for every travel bug you drop into the event, you get a raffle ticket for, and which then you can be get awarded a prize. So everyone was collecting all the TBs throughout Australia, bring them all into the Red Centre. So every time I went past a TB hotel, it'd be empty. It'd be already be taken. Everything would be gone. So I signed the logbook. Yep, I know why. But when we got there, I think there was just under 900 trackables were all dropped into the event, which is pretty cool. And they awarded a few Garmin prizes for that too. So Garmin were great as well. Garmin came to the party with so many different prizes, and Garmin were there. They had a stall there as well, which is really cool. So they were there too. And so many people come away with just little handheld Garmins, and everyone was excited for it. So it was great. But yeah, that's the raffle ticket. I didn't know that was actually something unusual. I thought that happened at all of them. But
oh yeah, no, I don't. I think if the word got out that people would get raffle tickets to bring travel bugs, there would be like thousands and thousands of them, because I don't think, Sydney, I don't ever heard of something like this.
I have never heard of this. I don't think they do this in the US.
Whoa.
It's a cool idea though.
Because I would just like activate a bunch of trackables and
right. Here
you go.
So yeah, we some people probably did that, and there were some people there with a bag of them, but most of them just, as I said before, they hoarded the TB hotels as they came into the centre. So pretty much every trackable that's been in Australia now has been to the Red Centre.
Which is awesome. Now,
yeah, it is.
Did you make room to drag a bunch of them back out of there?
No, I just was very selective with the size of the ones that I took.
So you took them because and then you kind of could sort of disseminate them as you went back home. You could kind of drop them here and there.
Exactly. And I'm a good geocacher in terms of I actually read the goal before I take the TB. So I'm one of those.
You're a good man.
I am. I'm one of those. And so the goal is, for instance, to go to Queensland. Oh, I'm going that way. No worries. I'll take this one. But yeah, if I wanted to go to Western Australia, I'd leave it there. So.
Which you're a good man, because we could do a whole show, Sydney and I, on a travel bug that's supposed to go east and it goes to California. You're like, I put east. Come on. So
well, see, this is how good I am then, because I've got a TB hotel that I made myself as well, with great help from West Virginia Tim on the actual locking mechanism.
cool.
Just chuck him out there as well. But I've got 4 different compartments. One's going north, one's going south, one's going overseas, and one's going west. You see, so people have to read their TB to make sure they drop it in the right container. And then when you pick up, you go, okay, I'm going north, so bang, take those ones. So yeah. So I've even got that in my TB hotel.
I've always wanted to make a TB hotel, but I want it to be something cool like that. So I need to like put in the work and, have a good place, safe place to put it. Haven't gotten that far yet.
Well, I found all West Virginia Tim's ones that he does. They're incredible. And to have a workshop and time like him,
oh, yeah.
Right.
Cindy's been to his event that he does every year. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't have the time really to spend to put in making those as many at least awesome caches. I could probably maybe do one, and I would be like, okay, that's good enough for me. So maybe when we I have some more time on my hands, I'll get to it. But I always say that about something or other.
There you go. Well, I don't know about down there, Craig, but up here, a lot of us have sort of bad experiences with travel bugs because we tend to send them out and they just kind of go into the void and we never see them again, or nobody ever sees them again.
We have the same issue. I mean, I activated a trackable for Geocache for Michael Day. And it was just like a little ring with a dog tag on it, and I actually put it in my TB hotel and it's gone. It didn't even last. It didn't even last one TB hotel. Like it lasted the TB hotel. That was it. Then it was gone. Didn't even move from there. Just gone.
I've got this little one here. I'll show you guys. And I blocked part of it. So, but if we found the travel bug dog tag in Jesse and I found this in a cache. This is all that was in the cache. I actually added a little path tag to it because I wanted to put something with it, but it's somebody else's. I'm gonna drop it because of our events coming up. I'm gonna drop it in there to get it move on. But it has no. I didn't even know if anybody owned it. I had to look it up, but somebody owns this, and I need to drop it off here shortly. But it's got no goals. It's got nothing on it. It just has got nothing. So it's like this is the bare minimum of a travel bug. So.
Nothing attached to it. Nothing.
Nothing. Just dropped in a cache. So. So let's talk a little bit about the event itself. What are some things that come to mind that you guys did? I know, and go watch the YouTube video. It's in the show notes, but or I think I put in the show notes. There's one in there. I'll definitely put in I'll go back and put those in right after the show as well, so people can get those. But obviously, we'll talk about your vlog on YouTube. But what are some things that come to mind that really stand out for you?
Well, for me personally, it was the camping every night with friends. It's like an event that just doesn't end. That's what I like. That's what I liked about it. But being in the red centre of Australia, the climate was just absolutely perfect. The weather, the temperature was perfect for caching. Like it wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. Every morning, everyone sort of got up, grabbed their breakfast, their bacon and egg rolls, and a cup of coffee, and off they went. And being in the red centre of Australia, they had made obviously a lot of power trails throughout everywhere, and they were going everywhere. These power trails, and power trails would lead to obviously existing earth caches, such as there's different gaps in the earth and whatnot that they're just amazing. Where Aboriginal people, like the first people in Australia, sort of thing, they would make their different areas, and it'd have it all in the earth cache about what you'd learn so much just from the earth cache itself. That's what I liked about it. But most importantly, the biggest one that you guys would love, the fact is that I found the 2 millionth geocache. It's located in Alice Springs. It is gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
Isn't that awesome?
It's a good sized cache.
Oh, good.
You do have to do a little climb to get it, and it's got the best. It's got a great view to it. So, yeah, it's just so happened to be a great 2 millionth cache that was just, you know, it wasn't a mint tin and a guardrail, for instance.
Right.
It was worth it. It was worth it. It's definitely worth going to. And it's actually logged as the 2 millionth geocache, because they didn't do that with the 3 million one.
Right.
No.
They didn't actually nominate 3 million one sort of thing, but they did nominate this one as the 2 millionth, so which is pretty cool.
I remember when that was coming about, and you know, it worked out that it turned out, you know, obviously to be a great one. I kind of wish they would have just sort of nominated a 3 millionth, just to kind of. I mean, Sydney and I and Jesse were all watching. We kept refreshing the screen, and what's bad is people don't think about it because they're like, "Well, which was the 3 millionth?" Well, it's hard to say because you have to realize that geocaching.com, it's going, exactly. So Craig's going like up and down because people are archiving all over the world. Just in general, they're just archiving. People are putting out caches, and so it's fluctuating. And so, you know, at about the time it hits 3 million, you know, which was the 3 millionth? I mean, because, you know, was it, you know, like I said, it's very fluid. If you ever go to geocaching.com, go to filters and just sit there and refresh on the thing, and it'll tell you, you know, it'll keep changing. So,
well, rumor has it that it was in New Zealand. Rumor has it, but I think that rumor was started by New Zealanders.
Probably,
maybe.
Just pick one. We're okay with it. Just pick one and call it the 3 millionth. You know,
exactly.
Yeah, it was so funny. I remember that day because Gary was texting us and he was like, "It just went over," and then I would go in. I'm like, "No, it didn't. It's like 5 less," and then I would refresh again, and it would be like, you know, 3,000,005, and then it would go back down to 2,999,996 or whatever, and it was just jumping up and down, and he would be like, "Oh, it's there again." I'm like, "No, it's not."
We're at 3,037,720 right now.
Wow.
And I don't know if people were really, because it's just sitting there right now. So apparently right now nobody's archiving anything. So Sydney, go archive 2 or 3 of your caches real quick.
I did the other day, actually.
I did too. I had to clear out the park because I had put out new caches. So all of the last year's caches are now removed. But anyway, back to the show. That was
and Gary, someone, I think Peter, just asked how many geocaches died at the event by venomous snakes.
Yeah, how many did you guys lose this year?
Well, yeah, none, thank goodness.
Oh, none this year. That's awesome.
None this year. See, a lot of people don't understand when it comes to our natural habitats, such as snakes and whatnot, unless you disturb them by turning over a rock, for instance, and putting your hand into places where you haven't looked first, you're not going to get bitten by anything here. Like people, and I talk it up to say, like, oh, look how tough I am. I live in Australia, but at the end of the day, they're more scared of you than what you are of them. So but in saying that, though, the Northern Territory and that sort of area are very prolific for snakes, including, I think it's the #1 deadliest in the world. It actually lives in Alice Springs as well. So, but no, you don't see them. They're very rare that you see any of that sort of stuff. So you see a lot of the kangaroos and other things, and a lot of lizards. You see, which is pretty cool. But yeah, there's nothing too deadly around here. But as long as geocaches from overseas come and visit me, I can actually take them, and they can be not be harmed.
Don't they have like?
I can be their guide.
They have spiders like this, like the size of like
your face.
Like a lunch, like a dinner plate, like really large, huge spiders. Like they're all over the place, right?
They're called huntsmans, and they're a pretty bad name. They're called a huntsman spider, but they're harmless. Like they're scary looking, but they don't really. They can bite you. They can, but do they? No. They're actually good for getting rid of like mosquitoes and stuff.
So
and small mice.
Right. So leave them alone. Mice.
Small mice.
Wallabies, they just kind of take out anything. So no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
So, no. Yeah, that sort of stuff. I mean, as I said, just if you pay me to be your tour guide while you're over here, then I can make sure that no harm will come to you.
Perfect. We will do that.
Yeah, hit me up and I'll join you.
Right. That's perfect.
That was
amazing.
Funny.
Go ahead. So go ahead, Cindy. I'm jumping in there.
Oh, well, he mentioned kangaroos, and I got really excited because that's one of the big reasons I want to go to Australia. I know kangaroos are like, are they actually like mean? Like they're portrayed, or
No. Again,
no?
like, so in my travels, like I'm on the motorbike and I'm traveling in the remote lands of Australia. Did I see kangaroos during the day? Hardly at all. The only time I saw kangaroos were on dusk or dawn. That's when they come out the most. The most kangaroos I saw were dead on the side of the road from where the trucks had hit them during the night. You know, and trucks are built for that in Australia. Like they've got these big rhubars on the front, and they'll just mow them down. Like,
right. Well,
so it's like deer here in the US.
I think so. Like, yeah, they're not considered. They're actually considered a predator in some cases in terms of farmers. So farmers will have culling roos sometimes because there's too many. But yeah, when you see them out back, they don't come near you. They're very scared of you. They don't, unless they're around a campsite already, and where they've been hand fed before, and they'll come back for hand feeding. But that's it.
Right.
Yeah. Sounds
they're not scary.
Deer here in the US, because the deer sounds like that. They're really skittish. They won't come near you. They get hit by cars a lot. So sounds similar.
Probably exactly the same.
But those will jump. I just want to see that so bad, because when they jump as well. This is the hardest thing. So when you're riding a bike or you're driving in a car, you'll see them and they'll start to jump away from you, but then they'll change their course and like just jump in front of you, like they're trying to commit suicide themselves. Like it's incredible. They just jump anywhere they can to try and get away from something. So they're not the smartest tools in the shed, to put it that way. So. And emus are the same. I saw more emus as well. Emus are great, but they're dumb. They'll be way off the road, and the rest of the flock will be on the other side of the road, but they'll run across directly in front of you to be with their flock rather than just to stay away from you, you know?
Right. You just get plowed over. So you've got like ranches, obviously, like everywhere else in the world, but do you guys have a lot of fenced, like, private property out that way? I mean, you're out in the middle of kind of nowhere, so.
No, not really. I mean, there's fence lines that go across. This is what I found quite strange as well. So there's fence lines that go across the road, but they hit the road, and then you'll have a cattle grid, like a cattle grate across the road. And this is on a main highway where the speed limit's like 130 kilometers an hour speed limit. You know, so you're doing quite a big speed, but then you've got to go across this cattle grid. So on the bike, it was on the bike I had to slow down and then keep going.
Yeah, really.
Yep. So, but no, there's not really that many sort of private property locations out there. It's very open and very sparse.
Right. Was it difficult to find campgrounds, or you're probably okay with you could just pull over anywhere, right? Pretty much, yeah. You could just pull over anywhere, but you did want to try and get somewhere where there's some time or some space off the road. Facilities. Those cattle trucks and stuff come through overnight, and we're talking trucks, we're talking road trains. So we're talking a prime mover, but it's got like five trucks behind it, like five actual trailers behind it. Trailers, yeah. Wow, that's cool. Yeah. So the big road trains, and they make a hell of a noise. So if you want any decent sleep, you try and get off the road as much as possible. Get a little ways out of there. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, no, that was pretty cool, and the remoteness of it was good after you got used to it. Right. So doing it by yourself was a bit sort of strange, or not strange, but yeah, a bit of an experience. Next time I'd probably go with someone else just to have someone to talk to, not just myself. Yeah, because you're a chat for hours. Yeah, I was gonna say you're a social guy, so it would work great. Speaking of being very good on the social thing, now we're going to talk about your Periscope, because I find that fascinating because you do so great with the Periscopes. But your videos that you did on the trip, like your day ones, your all that, and then all your information or all your vlogs that you did at the event, you told us before the show you did them all on your iPhone. Just the iPhone. This is all I had was my iPhone. That's it. Nothing else. I'm on a bike. I can't carry big camera equipment and whatever else. So I do snippet videos as much as I can during the day with the phone. Just using the video phone feature. That's all it was. And then overnight, especially if I had no connection, no one to talk to,
I then sit there and use iMovie on my phone and do the editing, you know, on the phone. So I can do all the editing. I even did the voiceover, you know, while the fire's crackling in the background, I did the voiceover, you know, things like that, which just made everything very easy for me to complete that, and then I can just upload it when I get Wi-Fi, you know. And so yeah, I did everything on the iPhone, and even all the event video all on the iPhone. So caches on Cachely on the iPhone. I didn't use any other device apart from the iPhone. So no Garmin, no GPS, nothing else.
Right. So Sydney, where, you know, you should be able to vlog every day now too.
Yeah, sure. Well, it is amazing what the iPhone can do. I mean, I assume that Android takes just as good video. I haven't had an Android in a long time, but iPhone has the built-in iMovie, so you can record the video and do your editing and the voiceover, whatever you want, all on one device. They have music you can import on there and all that stuff. I've used it a couple times. It's just kind of pretty easy to use, and then it's all in one spot, and you can upload straight from your phone, and I feel like it works out really well. Plus, the video quality on the iPhone these days has gotten significantly better. So that helps a lot.
Definitely. I did use an app called Filmic Pro to actual film, because with the Filmic Pro you can do the contrast or the aperture separately and lock it in, or the focal point, you know, or you can change focal points as well manually. So I did use Filmic Pro as the app itself for it.
Is it Film MC Pro? Is that how you would spell it, Craig? Or
I think so. Yeah. Film IC Pro.
Oh, Film IC Pro. Gotcha. Film IC Pro. IC Pro. Gotcha.
Wrong one. It comes up straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a red banner.
Oh, okay.
All right. Cool.
Cool. Very cool.
So, Craig, why don't you tell us a little bit about your Periscope account?
So I've Periscoped for years when it first came out, and Joshua Johnson, he's the one that put me onto the Periscope when he started doing it as well. But then I took about a 12-month break because it wouldn't work on my phone. I got a new phone and it started working again, funnily enough. So I've been back on Periscope now for nearly 12 months, doing them almost daily. And yeah, so I basically I'll go to a GZ location or somewhere similar, or maybe even it's just a waypoint if I'm doing a multi. And I'll just scope from there to say g'day and to everyone else around, show people where I am, show the different cache types we have in Australia. So it's a pretty good following at the moment. I mean, I think I'm sitting just on around 800 sort of followers at the moment, which is pretty cool. But they love to join in live, and then they can chat to me live and ask me questions live while I'm showing. So that's what I like about the Periscope. So when you can interact directly with people, it's fantastic. Yeah.
And you're doing a streak, right? Are you still doing that?
Well, I'm doing two types of streak at the moment. Oh, I'm a crazy nutter. I'm doing just your normal streak, you know, every day caching. That's fine. And I think I'm up to 590 days straight at the moment. So that's just a normal streak. But there's a challenge cache here in Australia where you have to log a different type per day. So you can't have 2 days in a row the same cache type. So you can have a traditional, then you have to have a multi or an earth cache, and then you have to have, you know, a different one again from that one you did the day before. So I've completed that because that was 31 days, and so I completed that a while ago. But there is one person who's got the #1 spot, if you like, for that particular type of challenge, and he just so happens to be the #1 streaker in Australia as well. He's completed his stuff. So he's got 81 of these days straight. So I've got to get a minimum of 82 just to beat him at something, because I'm not going to beat his streak, because he's been streaking now and he's still on the streak for 6-7 years. So yeah, he's Bella at Waggy, his name is. He's incredible.
So Craig can't tie him. He's not going to do 81. He's got to do 82.
I've got to do 82. I have to beat him by at least one. So. Funny enough, I've put a message into Project GC about a challenge checker, because I thought to myself, this is a great challenge to do and to put out for people. And if that was the case, then I'd go to 100, and then I'd make people do 100, you know, just to be evil. But unfortunately, Project GC came back and said there's no challenge checker for it. So under the new rules, we can't put it out. So unfortunately, but yeah, that's what's happening at the moment with my streaks. there's two of them.
Right. A couple notes in the chat room. We're going to jump back and forth a little bit, but Memphis Mafia, not sure who that is. He says, "Are there large areas with no geocaches in Australia?"
Yes, there are huge areas with no geocaches. So in Australia, you've got, and it's probably similar to you guys as well, but we've got national parks. We can't put a physical geocache in a national park without getting permission. And if you do seek and get permission for it, then there's not allowed to be any swag in it. There can't be any travel bugs in it. All it is a container and a logbook. That's it, that sort of thing. So there's those, but there are areas in Australia where, there's hardly anyone around in order to put them in, because you've got to be within 161 kilometres of your residence in order to have a traditional out.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so if no geocachers live in that area, then there's not going to be any caches there. So, sure. Exactly. But I put out an earth cache on the way back myself at these things called the Pebbles up near Queensland, and it's been found since then. So it was back in April. It's been found twice since then. So the first to find was nearly a month. It took someone a month to find it for the first to find. So
wow.
Just goes to show there's not that many geocaches that travel around Australia like that. So.
The remote, yeah. The other question,
very remote.
Yeah, other chat room was John Rugels. He wrote, "How many spare battery packs did you have to haul with you on the trip to Red Center?"
Well, none, because with my motorbike, I had a USB. I've got 2 USB ports in my motorbike, and so as I'm riding along, in most cases, I actually used, funnily enough, Cashly's mapping, and I had it automatically plugged into the USB, so it stayed at 100% the whole time. The only time it was going to unplug it to go find a cache, then come back, plug it back in. So yeah, no batteries required.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, back to you, Sydney, on Periscope stuff. Sorry.
One other thing. I think Jesse's in the chat. He found it funny that you said GZ for ground zero instead of, we here in the US call it GZ.
Oh, yes.
It's obviously say Z, and
yes.
he thought it was funny that you said that.
Actually, it would make you laugh even more. A friend of mine, her name is Eat Sleep Cache Repeat. She's from Brisbane, from Queensland, and she's relatively new. Like, she's been caching for just over a year, even though she's got over 2,000 finds. She's a bit incredible, but she calls GZ Geozone. So once you get to Geozone, so she doesn't call it ground zero, she calls it Geozone. Okay, now we're in the Geozone. Let's put our phones away and look here.
That's good. I like that. Geozone makes perfect sense.
Geozone makes sense. So that's again, something new, something someone said.
I like that.
We've heard GZ before. I don't know why Memphis Mafia brought that up.
GZ.
Good grief. I mean, GZ, we hear it from Canadians or from our friends in Great Britain too. So I think Ireland, I think Sarah mentions GZ too, but
yeah,
it is different for us to hear it because we just don't.
The other big thing here in Australia as well, which is a big talk about people don't like what I say, and that is I say geocaching because it's pronounced geocaching. But in Australia, they say cache. They don't say cache.
Oh, geocaching?
They say caching. So C-A-C-H-E is a cache, like a computer cache.
Oh, a cache. Okay.
A cache, yeah. So they say geocaching, and to go find the cache, here I am saying, no, it's a cache. And to back myself up, if you actually have a look at GC's, it says how to pronounce it, and it says cash like money. So it actually says on the GC page, you pronounce it cash like money. Right. And like so money. I chuck it back to it. Yeah, so many people here say cash all the time, and they ask me, what do you say cash for? I said, because that's what it's meant to be. So, yes. They go, only Americans call it caching. Only Americans say that. I said, well, that's where it started.
Well, yeah. Or pirates you'd have a cache of gold. Pirates would have caches of gold.
Yeah. So, but here they call it cache.
Cache.
Cache
of
gold.
All right. Well, it's okay. We'll all find them together. It'll all be
exactly okay. Right. They all look the same at the end of the day.
Right.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's. We're kind of starting to run out of time, so let's jump into your geocaching trips planned for later this year? Do you have any?
Yes, I do. I've got a couple of big ones planned. So we have another challenge cache here, me and challenge caches here in Sydney, actually, and that is you have to find a geocache in every state and territory of Australia in one calendar year. So for me, what better year to do it than this year, because I've already done most of them in one trip.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, so we've got an event over in Western Australia. It's called Western Australia Goes Big. I'll be flying over there. I won't be riding. It's just way too far. I'll be flying over to that for the weekend, have the event there, and get my cache in Western Australia. That leaves Tasmania. So Tasmania is technically overseas because you've got the water bridge in between, like Hawaii for you guys.
Sure.
So I'll be doing a fly-in, fly-out there. So I'll be flying over there, walking outside the airport, grabbing a cache, jumping back on a plane, flying home. But it'll be a one-day thing, that one, just for the challenge cache.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is something. And how many miles away is that from where you live?
From where I live itself, you're probably looking, I think it's around 3,000 kilometres. So that's roughly around the 2,200 miles for you guys, for just Tasmania. So, and Western Australia is further again. So yeah, Western Australia is a 4.5-hour plane flight. So
you're going to fly all that time just to get off the plane, go find a cache, and get back on the plane and go home? Yes,
just so I can do this challenge in Sydney.
Now that is dedication right there, folks.
Yes, yes. So that's my upcoming ones for the rest of this year.
That's awesome.
So, yep.
3,000 kilometers, 1,864 miles.
There you go.
Wow.
That's a lot.
There you go.
I'm not doing anything like that. Jesse might. Jesse would be into that challenge. He would want to just drive around the whole country and get them all in like 2 months or whatever. 2 months straight.
We should have a challenge for that in America. Surely one calendar year you do every state in America.
You could. I mean, some people just did the 48 states in like 7 days, I think. But that is something. That is a lot of driving, not a lot of sleeping. You got to have a big group to. I would not do that.
Not a lot of quality caching. It's like, thank goodness there's one under a lamppost. I mean, that's all you're looking for at that point.
That's right. The easiest, most,
Yes, whatever's closest to the road. Yeah, there's a map, Craig, that gets put on Facebook quite periodically, but it's what's the shortest route around the U.S. that you could do and catch all the 48. So that's always fun to talk about. We always talk about we should do this as a group, and we could It's
only the 48.
Yeah, well, true. Yeah, because you have to fly to Alaska and Hawaii.
Well, you could drive to Alaska.
You could drive to Alaska. You could.
I have to fly to Tasmania. Like, I can't drive to Tasmania.
That's right. Take a boat ride. Yeah, it took a while. All right. We're having way too much fun. All right. Let's jump into GIF for a moment, because I think it was last year, Craig, that you were chosen. Your GIF was chosen, and it was a good one.
One of the chosen ones.
You were a chosen one.
Yes, and very humbled by it too.
And I liked your. It's funny. We watched the GIF at our Texas challenge event, and so we watched every one of them. That was in the finalists, and but I thought yours was the best. So
thank you, Gary.
It was.
You were just saying that now.
No. You had a story. It was a neat story. But anyway, so you got to top it. You got to be in that list again this year, right?
Yeah. Well, I've done all my filming for it. I've got the storylines down pat. I had several people message me about what I should do from Australia, of which I've selected 3 of them and put them all. I could actually put them all together and paste them all and make a story out of it. So done all the filming for it. I started to do the editing. I managed to just get it down below the 4-minute mark as well.
Yeah.
Like 3 minutes 58, like ridiculous. Like I had to cut so much out of it. You know, it's incredible when you've got a good storyline and you want to do it. But my main issue is that I didn't read all the terms and conditions.
Oh no. Oh no.
So I'm actually wearing this shirt in the video.
Okay.
And this shirt has a logo which promotes an upcoming geocaching event next year.
That should be fine.
No, it's not.
Oh.
So what I did though, I will say this: I put it out there to the geocaching video community on Facebook and said, "How do I blur out a logo?" I had Joshua Johnson message me. I had all the different bloggers messaging me different ways. I managed to find a way to do it. It's going to be very tedious, and I haven't finished it yet. But it's going to take me a couple of extra hours to do. But I should be able to do it, which is really cool.
Well, that's good.
So that's in the process at the moment. So hopefully that'll be finished in a couple of weeks' time.
You'd think they would be okay with if it's a geocaching event.
You can't promote the geocaching event on the GIF.
It's Geocaching Film Festival. You should be. So I can wear a Cachely shirt, but I couldn't do an event or no.
No, you can't wear a Cachely shirt either. So you can't
promote anything.
I can't put a geocaching.com shirt on.
Yes, that's the only thing you can do. So when I did,
this is ridiculous.
If you noticed my my gift from last year, I actually had to use the you'll see a picture of my phone, and I had to use the original GC app. I couldn't use Cachely app to show that part. I can't use any particular other. I have to use GC only. So the only symbol I could have on here would be like geocaching.com symbol. That's the only thing you can use. You can't have anything else. You couldn't have geocache talk on there. Nothing else. Nothing to do with my vlog or anything.
Wow, I didn't think about that because last year I submitted, but I did use because in my video, my music video, I do have showing it, and I did go ahead and do geocaching because I figured I didn't want to do Cachely because I don't know exactly the relation. I mean, I know that they allow him to use the API, but anyway. But I didn't think about the fact that would have disqualified me. But wow,
yeah, it's a possibility. See. So lucky I went through the terms and conditions. Otherwise, I would have done all this work, and they've turned around and go, "No, you're sponsoring something." So
yeah, well, we're looking forward to seeing your videos.
Yes,
your GIF. But
yes, this one's going to be different to the last. This one will have a number of different laughing points in it. It'll showcase the different parts of Australia as well, which is pretty cool. Not just a beach. That sort of thing. So, but the hardest part for me was also, trimming it down to under 4 minutes. That was incredible.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And you're helping to plan for an event for 2018. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yes. That's this one here. It's called the Aussie Geocacher. Yeah, that's the one. I'm sure you'll put the GC code in the film notes. Yes. GC74CH7. Look at that. I know it off by heart. It's terrible. So yeah, I'm in the committee for it, and this one should be a mega. And cross fingers, we're at like 230 will attends already, which is good. It's in April of next year, so over our Easter period next year. Mm-hmm. Now, anyone international looking at coming to Australia, this is the time to come because you can fly into Sydney. Sydney's the biggest airport in Australia, and everything flies into Sydney and out of Sydney. No dramas. You can fly into Sydney. You can hire a car or hit me up for a ride. And then we travel only like an hour and a bit north, and you're at the event. Oh, and cool. So you stay at the event. You got we can got accommodation there. The whole lot. So everything's there. So it's only an hour and a bit north of Sydney. So if anyone from the overseas is going to hit up Australia, this is the time to come, because then also 2 weeks after the event, we have the Commonwealth Games here, but they're in Queensland, but they're just a little bit north as well. So they're only like a couple of hours north drive again from there, and you're in Commonwealth Games. So
wow, this is awesome.
Yeah, so it's and on the north coast of New South Wales, just north of Sydney.
Wow.
I like how you put a note in there about that. There's plenty of things to climb for Zach, so you could come and do that.
Oh, there is so many things. Actually, a quick story for you for Zach as well. There is a cache that I did only recently. it's a multi-cache, so you go grab your waypoints. But the final, the GZ, it puts you along a Zach would love it. It actually puts you along a knife point of a cliff. So it's probably about a 1.5 feet wide. This edge of this,
wow.
and you've got a cliff one side and a cliff the other side. So it's actually a knife point. Once you walk across there with sort of a bit jittery nerves, then you get up to like a looks like a toothbrush sort of top. But you have to climb up with a toothbrush, and how you do that? There's an angle on the rock, and it's quite a decent angle of the rock. The rock is smooth, so there's no footholds, there's no handholds. You've purely got to rely upon the friction of your shoes in order not to fall 100 meters.
Oh.
So, and it's on the top of that. So Zach would love it. Zach would love it.
Oh,
he'd get to the top and then do a backflip or something. You know what he does. He's like,
exactly, he would.
He would. He'd walk along the knife point and do the backflip, you know, like a gymnast. Right. So yeah, that's the reason why I've done.
Yeah, I'm not good. Yeah, that's not my speed. I don't think Sydney would do it either. So
yeah,
no, I don't.
No, he would love it.
That sounds pretty scary.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was a couple of people I did it with, and a couple of them started crawling across the knife edge because they didn't want to walk. You know, they got a bit frightened doing that. So, but yeah,
that'd work. Do that that way. So
yeah.
All right, Sydney, you got anything else that you can think of?
I know Craig really wants us to come to this event, and I would love to, but I'm just dreading a flight to Australia is so long. It sounds.
But to come to a place where you were named.
I know I have to come. At some point in my life, I have to
Make sure you bring an empty bag so you can take all the Sydney, souvenirs with you.
I have to bring a whole separate suitcase just for all the stuff I'm going to buy.
Yeah, bring an extra, collapsible, and then just stuff it full of Sydney stuff, and then pack it up and ship it. You can just ship it back.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah, that won't cost a lot.
That's all.
A shipping container would be cheap.
Right there, you go. Shipping container.
Right.
Okay. Well,
I've spoken to Joshua Johnson about coming over. Even Nick Hubbard as well. Chatted to him a little bit too. Because I saw. Yeah, and actually Nick come on board with sponsorship for us as well. I've got to mention that. So Nick's actually a diamond sponsor. So Cashley is a diamond sponsor for our event as well, which is pretty cool. Like that's the highest tiered sponsor. Yeah. So Cashley come on board pretty quick with it all. So they've been brilliant. So they're fantastic with it all. So that's all good. And we've got another sponsor. I should remember the other sponsor. I'm terrible.
It's okay.
We've got a couple of other sponsors. Advil Angus is another sponsor as well. And Caching Supplies, they're here in Queensland. That's our other diamond sponsor as well, Caching Supplies. So that's pretty cool as well. So they're the main sponsors at the moment. We're still looking for others, obviously. The event's still a little way off, but things are in the planning, things are in the process. So it's all well and good that way. So
that's awesome.
If you're going to come to Australia next year in April, is the time to come. 100% is the time to come. So,
there you go. Everybody needs to, that's the perfect time. If you're going to plan to geocache in Australia, that's the time to go, because you could you could do a combo. You go do the event, and you could go, make all your plans, and do that event as also geocaching.
Perfect temperature here for you guys. It's not hot, it's not cold, and there'll be so many other local geocaches around to hold your hand so you don't get killed by any animals. Then you'll be right. See, so
that's right.
We can't step.
No, but you won't be killed by a Tasmanian tiger or anything like that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
There you go.
No, it's fantastic. Yep, everyone should get down to it. Definitely.
Very good. Yes, and not only go to that, but you've got to get out and watch all of Craig's videos. Follow him on Twitter. It's at seemyshell. SEEMISHALL. M-Y. Did I say I?
Yes, I.
I meant Y. SEEMYSHELL. See my shell. And of course his name's Craig Michelle, so See My Shell. It fits perfectly. So yeah, and go check out the Aussie Geocacher on YouTube. Go watch videos. They're wonderful. You do a great job, Craig. You really do.
Thank you. Just one more thing, Gary, as well.
Yeah,
I've got you there.
You bet.
It's Aussie, like with Z. Think of it as Z, Aussie. It's not Aussie.
It's not Aussie, Aussie.
Aussie. That's it, Aussie. Like with the Z, like ZZ, Aussie.
Z, Aussie.
Yeah,
He's
Aussie.
He's an
It's not
Aussie.
That's
Aussie
it.
catcher. There you
There
go.
we go. There we go.
There we go.
I'll teach you the ways of Australia yet. Don't worry.
That's right. I'm learning them as I go here. So
Yeah, there's no shrimps down here. They're only prawns, that sort of thing.
That's right. There's no shrimp, prawns. It's a Barbie. There's no barbecues.
Yeah. We get the Barbie.
You throw them on the Barbie.
Yeah, that's right.
Excellent. Well, yeah, that's awesome. Well, coming up on the show next week, we have on Geocaching Katie. We've got another vlogger. This is awesome. She's going to talk about, she's in grad school. She's vlogging. She's geocaching. How does she juggle all these things? And so Katie's going to tell us about how she's doing that. And then 2 weeks away, we've got Brett Rogers on the show. He's an interesting fella. He has one of the most incredible multi-caches in New York City. And he's going to talk about geocaching in New York City, which I think is going to be fascinating because I don't know how you would do it in a city that size. It's just boggles the mind. But and then in 3 weeks, Craig, your buddy's going to be on our show, Nick Hubbard.
Yes.
Talk about Cachly Update 3.0, and that's on July 16th, show 58. So anyway, hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comments at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at geocachetalk. I'm at Gary Slinkard, one word. Jesse's at Memphis_Mafia. And we missed having him on tonight, but he was in the chat room, so that was nice. Sydney is at ShermanatorGC, and Facebook at facebook.com/geocachetalk. Show can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. I need to look into Pocket Cache. I think Pocket Cast. Some people mentioned that one, so I'm gonna try to add them. It's on Podcastpedia, so if you have a favorite that you want us to do, definitely email us, and I will work on getting the podcast on your favorite medium that you listen to podcasts on. And, of course, you can go to our Geocache Talk website anytime you want to catch audio, video, and Sydney keeps up with all the show notes as well. So it's a team effort for that as well. So don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Because that will keep you informed of when we're on. Sometimes people forget, and it's nice to have that. So please subscribe so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. Until next week, don't just talk about geocaching. Go down under to Australia and see the Aussie Geocacher and go geocaching.
Thanks very much for having me, Gary. And I just got to say one more thing. This is seemyshell. I'm the Aussie Geocacher. I'm over and out.
Good night, everybody.